the Timeslides program. My name is Natalie. You are listening to 2RRR on 88.5 FM. And a big thank you to Jeremy for another awesome edition of Quiet Fire. And Jeremy will be back with you next Saturday, 4 p.m. till 5 p.m. He always does great shows, so I'm sure, you'll love it when he's back again next week. I'm here for the next hour. Timeslides is on every Saturday, 5 p.m. till 6 p.m. We also do get repeated on a Wednesday at 9 a.m. So hello if you're listening now on this lovely Saturday afternoon, or if you're listening to the live show. Great to be hanging out with you for the next hour. My favourite place to be on a Saturday afternoon, doing my radio show. And I'm super excited as well because today, for the first time for 2022, I've got an actual live person here in the studio with me. I've got a guest. We haven't been able to have guests for a little while because of, COVID restrictions and all that sort of stuff. But I'm really excited to welcome Richard from local Sydney band Marc With A Sea. And we will get behind that story soon. I was just going to say Mark. I was just going to call you Mark then. Richard, welcome. Richard with an R.
Thank you.
Welcome to the show.
Hello. Thanks for having us.
Nice.
Thanks for having me. But on behalf of the band.
Yes, yeah. Well, us. I was just going to say, if you brought your imaginary friend as well, perhaps. So, no, it's great to have you. Great to have you here. And like I said, first guest in the studio. So it's great to have another person to talk to face to face here.
Yeah.
So, now I haven't seen your band. Full disclosure, I haven't sort of seen your band play. So tell us a little bit about. And the band is literally, we were having this discussion before we came on air. It's called Marc With A Sea, the whole phrase. I was like, first I was like, do you just mean the band's name is Marc, M-A-R-C? That's what at first I was like,
okay, right.
And I just thought that was the band name, Marc, but it's actually Marc With A Sea. Like,
yes, that's right.
It's unusual, but hey, let's talk about the band name. So
yeah, well, okay, it's a good place to start. So, as I was saying to you before, we got together Marc, who spells his name M-A-R-C, I assume short for Marcus. He had been performing for a number of years and writing songs as a solo artist. He used to play at the Townie at Newtown, at the Open Mics and elsewhere. And a few years back, about 4 years ago now, he decided that he'd like to put a band together and try out his songs in a band environment. So that's how we came to be, just advertising on Gumtree. I just saw an ad there and answered it. It was quite nice to see an ad that didn't specify that you had to be 18 to 25. Some of us older people who've had a bit of a break from music and got back into it. So I came aboard. We had a drummer. We got together once with a drummer. He sort of moved on, and then Martin came aboard, and he lives, same as Mark, he lives in the inner west. So the three of us got together and we got going. We first played live at the end of 2018. And I think it might have been about a year before our lead guitarist, Cole Folds, who lives up in the Blue Mountains, he came down and sort of added a really nice extra dimension with apart from lead, some nice backing vocals too.
Yeah.
And he's also just recently started contributing some songs of his as well. So we're going to start incorporating some of his stuff as well into the set. So. And
you're saying that the band name Marc With A Sea because he used to have to always sort of say, "Oh, my name's Marc With A Sea."
Yeah, that's where it came from.
Not the M-A-R-K. Yes. Yeah. He was M-A-R-C. So that's sort of
That's right. And then he play on words, changed the C to a S-E-A. So yeah. So as I was saying, I'm not entirely sure it was a good or a bad thing that it's such a tricky name because it's kind of memorable, but anyway, it's our name.
Because I literally thought you meant the band was called Marc, but just M-A-R-C, but now I get it. It's like Marc With A Sea. So yeah, I
think we've all had to explain it a few times, but anyway, look,
it starts a conversation.
Yeah, that's right.
And things sort of go from there. So it's quite cool. And it sounds like you guys are sort of all spread out all over Sydney. You said a couple of guys are in the inner west. You live in this Gladesville sort of area where James Galar is based, and someone at the other drummers, the Blue Mountains. So you sort of, is it hard to rehearse when you sort of live in all different places?
Yeah, look, it's not too bad. I mean, I'm very lucky that the guys from the inner west in particular, they come out this way. As I said, we rehearse up the road at Gladesville, just under an auto repair shop. So they come out there, and that's good for coal, obviously coming from the mountains.
Yeah.
So we rehearse there whenever we can. We're not the kind of band that plays every week or anything.
No.
I think, like a lot of bands, we kind of quickly slotted into that thing where you might not do anything for a few weeks, and then come together before a gig or a show or something. Yeah. And of course, with COVID, we've gone long periods where.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, like the last 2 years, and we were just chatting off air about gigs that have been cancelled that we haven't been able to go to, or things that have been happening. I mean, the last 2 years have really, horribly affected the.
Yeah.
This industry. I mean, how have you guys? Was it hard, or was it just like, okay, well, let's just get stuck in? A lot of bands I speak to that said, well, we just use the time for writing instead, or things like that, or So how did you guys cope with really no gigs for so long?
Well, we didn't go down the road, and I think some did, of keeping things going via Zoom, for example.
Yeah, the whole live streaming.
Yeah, we didn't actually. I don't know. We never actually discussed that. I mean, Mark's writing constantly. So he's. In that time, like, he's written several songs, and probably others that he hasn't even brought to the group yet. But yeah, I think we just kind of down tools and just maybe just waited.
Had a break.
Yeah, I mean, I know for myself. One thing it taught me was, I'm a completely self-taught bass player, and I'm under no illusions about my ability. And I could have really used that time to improve my skills, but I found that without gigs or rehearsals or any kind of thing to work towards, my motivation just went away completely. So there were very long periods in the shutdown where I didn't even touch my instrument, which was terrible. I really should have. But so we. And
did you find it weird sort of when you went, okay, can I remember how to play this thing? Like, I mean, did you
actually,
sort of
it wasn't too bad.
Forget? Or?
Yeah, it was like riding a bike. It came back pretty quickly. So I mean, personally, I could have used that time better than I did. But in the spirit of being kind to yourself during lockdown, and not being too hard on yourself. So musically, everything went very quiet, and we just kind of waited until we could get back together and then start playing again, basically.
It has been sort of pretty. I mean, I couldn't even do my show. There was long periods when we were in the lockdowns where we weren't allowed to come to here to the studio. So it was like, my Saturday afternoons, it was like, what the hell am I going to do now for the next couple of hours? I'm so used to going to the radio station. It is a sort of a strange feeling. So, but you guys have got a gig on tonight. Hallelujah! Like, that's fantastic. So, where's the gig? Give it a plug.
Yeah. So it's not really a gig as such. It's sort of a band showcase that's on at Dundas Sports Club. A guy named AJ, Alistair Johnson, has been running it for a number of years. He plays in a cover band called the Headliners. It's a little bit convoluted, but there's been a long.
We've only got until 6 o'clock, so
there's been a long-running Tuesday night jam night run at the club, which I've been going to, so AJ's band night. Often people from that Tuesday night put a group together and do some songs for that upcoming band night.
Okay, cool.
And because I'd been a part of that before Marc With A Sea, that's how we started doing it. I think I said this could be our fourth, maybe even fifth time. We've basically sort of done it again this time because we just haven't had any opportunity to play live for so long that it just came up, and I thought, I'd ask the guys if they were keen to play again. So,
and is it a free gig or you're paying?
Yeah, it's totally free.
There'll be other bands as well. And
it's a really good sort of community event. So it's sort of a mixture of people that go to that Tuesday night Champagne Jam night. It's also there's also some people who come from Big Music in Crow's Nest run a music course for kids, but also for adults.
Okay.
If you want to get into music later in life, and they can learn an instrument, but also come together in groups and learn how to play in a group. So some bands have come from that, and others are just incredibly talented teenagers from the area who just come along and play rings around everyone else, including us. But so it's a real mixture and a good mix of people. So you get friends and family, mothers and fathers and grandparents and aunts and uncles and it's a really.
So what time were you guys? Or what time does it kick off? Or is it?
Well, it usually starts at 7:30, but I believe it's getting off a little bit later. It's going to be 8 o'clock tonight. And we often go on early because I think AJ likes to get the originals bands done and then and people have had a few drinks.
Yep.
And later in the night, that's when the cover bands come on. So, which is fair enough. Yeah, that's fine. So,
You'll have to chuck in a couple of covers.
Well, we do have one. We do have one cover we're going to play tonight. So
cool. Well, we're going to play one of your tracks, so Marc With A Sea, and the track you wanted to start off with is called Let Me Go Easy. So what's significant about this track? What do you guys like about it? Tell us about the track.
Oh, the main thing with this is... so we're in the process of recording right now. We're getting 3 tracks professionally recorded. So Mark's already been in and done guide tracks, and myself and Marty and Mark are going to go in the studio in a couple of weeks and record our parts. So Let Me Go Easy is one of those 3 songs. It's taken off we played live at Mosh Pit in December 2020. So it's I just wanted to play it as a bit of a representation of what we sound like.
Cool.
And it's one of our sort of more recent songs. It's not an old one. And, we think it sounds pretty good. So.
Well, let's have a listen.
Yeah,
this is Marc With A Sea, and this track is called Let Me Go Easy, which you are listening to on 2RRR 88.5 FM.
When it comes my time to die, let me go easy. Let me drift into the night, loud and breezy. Mixing up with the moonlight, quick and squeezy. As I turn to say goodbye, ever so gently. Now I'm not one for tempting my fate. It's just my dying. Cause then I'll be cold as a fish. And I'll be served on a dish. I'll find Mother Nature's table at which she will dine. Let me be tucked in my bed, nice and cozy. Warm from my toes to my head, cheeks so rosy. Stepping out beyond my dreams on Karen's Ferry. Unwinding my left fantasy, never again. Now I'm the one for tempting my fate. It's just my diet. Cause by then I'll be cold as a fish. And I'll be served on a dish. I'll find one of nature's table at which she will dine. Now please don't go getting upset and taking this all too much to heart. It's just me musing and reflecting and having a little fun. Since when the sun finally sets and my time finally comes, I'll only be smiling, thinking of everything I've been and done. Yeah. When it comes my time to die, let me go easy. Let me drift into the night, light and breezy. Mixing up with the moonlight, stirring easy. As I turn to say goodbye, drifting sweetly, yeah.
You are listening to the Timeslides program. You're on 2RRR 88.5 FM. My name is Natalie. Thanks for hanging out with me this afternoon. Timeslides is on every Saturday, 5 p.m. till 6 p.m. We also do get repeated on a Wednesday at 9 a.m. So hello if you're listening to whichever show you're listening to. We started off with what was the song? Let Me Go Easy,
Let Me
wasn't
Go
it?
Easy, yes.
And that was by a local Sydney band called Marc With A Sea. And we've got Richard, the bass player from the band, who's my guest on the show this afternoon. He's come in and he's got a gig. You pretty much be going straight from here almost to the gig, or like...
Yeah, I've come straight from rehearsal, straight here, then, yeah, so...
It's the band life, right? So.
Well, it's, as we've been saying, it's been so quiet lately that it's good to fit a few things in on one day. So.
Yeah. Now you've also got to do a shout out to your family, right?
I do, yes, yes. To my kids, Lachlan, Riley, and Sarah. I believe they're listening, and my wife Christine.
Hello, Richard's family.
I'm told they're all listening, and yeah. So
hope you enjoyed the show.
Yeah.
And hope you enjoyed your shout out. Always love it when you get to give people a shout out, like, you know. So I did a shout out once to my niece. She lives on the Gold Coast, but she was actually listening in, like you can listen in online, and she sent me a message going, "Oh, thanks for the shout out." Like, she was super excited. So anyway, it's pretty cool. So so you've got your gig tonight, which is really cool. Tell us about you guys, you mentioned that you're recording. So do you prefer the recording process or the playing live? And, you know, what's your... I mean, I guess with a band, it's sort of... You do both things, you know. Most bands want to record and they want to do live. Yeah. Although I know some bands who just play live and have never recorded anything. Do you like the recording process, or are you sort of a preference that I just want to get out and play live?
I haven't had much experience with recording, to be honest. I had... years ago when I was in a teenage band, we recorded a track. But yeah, apart from that, I haven't had much experience, and to be honest, I'm a little nervous about it. It's, you know, a little daunting going into a professional studio, but I'm sure it'll be fine, and it'll be great to have the final sort of product. But for me personally,
to have a thing there that you can go, hey, this is mine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hand out CDs or vinyls or whatever to people.
Yeah, well, and as I've been saying to people, you know, to the other guys in the band and others, it kind of gives you a bit of legitimacy. It kind of shows that I guess you're kind of serious about what you're doing, and obviously if you've got something professionally recorded, it can lead to, you know, getting gigs and you know, meeting other bands and, you know, doing gigs with them as well.
Just to have something out in the world to say, hey, we made this.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
We did this, you know.
Yeah, but for me personally, I really enjoy playing live, and yeah, I mean, partly because I haven't had much, you know, to do in the studio. But for me, like my motivation, I took a very long break. I played music in my late teens and early 20s, and I didn't get back into it till my late 30s.
Right.
I think it was definitely a midlife crisis. 40 was fast approaching, and but yeah, I've realised that...
And you're like, I'm not as cool as I used to be. I need to get cool again. I want my kids and my family to think I'm really cool. I'll go back into being in the band.
Yeah, it was really weird. I just had this, interestingly, through, you know, all sorts of things and house moves, I'd never actually sold or given away my bass and my amp. It was always there in the garage or something. And yeah, one day, I don't know, the desire to play again, and I just kind of went with it. Like, I didn't question it, I just kind of followed it, which is a little unlike me, I guess. But yeah, so what I've found is, for me personally, it's almost as much about interacting with, or meeting new people and interacting. It's not... The music, in a funny way, the music is almost secondary. Like, I just really love that, you know, through going to that jam night I mentioned, Champagne Jam at Dundas, doing the thing that we're going to do tonight, AJ's band night, and being in a couple of bands and meeting all these people, that's really the payoff for me. That's fantastic.
Yeah, no, it's cool. So tell us about, I'm always interested with bands about the songwriting process. I can't write songs, I can't write anything. I can't even play an instrument. Doing the radio show, that's my contribution to the local music scene. So how do you guys go about, like, is it like you all sit in a room together, or does one of you write and go, okay, does Mark, the singer, or do you sort of write a few words down and then go to the studio and go, hey, I've got this song, let's flesh it out, sort of thing. So yeah, what's your band's process?
Yeah, well, for us, it's really been a matter of, you know, we got together. Mark had all the material, like he had. I think he'd been writing for, I think, best part of 20 years. So he had this huge folder of lyrics and music. Yeah. And his ready-made songs, which he'd been performing for some time, you know, live, and he'd also recorded demos of them. So, yeah, it was kind of unusual, because normally a band would get together, you've got no original material, and you've probably come together through a mutual love of, a certain artist or a style of music. So you play covers for a while, you get your confidence up, and then you start writing. But for us, we literally started originals. Covers came much later.
So Marc does all the writing? Or
yeah, so what that meant was Marc brought to the rehearsal space almost, you could say almost complete songs.
Yeah.
But what we've always done is we've always chipped in with the arrangement. So, myself or Marty on drums or more recently Cole, we might have a suggestion about, how we try this, or maybe we shouldn't do that second chorus there or whatever.
Yeah.
And we all have a hand in the arrangement, I'd say.
So you haven't sort of tried your hand at writing just yet, or?
Look, to be honest, I don't really have time. I mean, I've got a busy job, 3 kids. I've always said that from day one, I just love Marc's songs, and I think, honestly, without sounding glib, I really think they deserve to be heard by more people, and I'm really happy to play a part in that. That's kind of my motivation. But more recently, and Marc's always said to us, "Look, guys, you've got any ideas? Bring them in." And
so it's a very democratic sort of process. It's not like he says, "This is the song. We're playing it the way I'm telling you to play it." Like it's all very.
He's always
you
very
can all
open.
contribute, sort of thing, which is cool.
I mean, if you went back and listened to like a demo of some of the songs we do you can obviously hear that it's very similar, but being a band and maybe a few things have changed. You can hear that we've all had some input. But more recently, so Cole, Cole is really the musician in the group. He actually knows his theory. And the rest of us are pretty well self-taught. So he plays in a couple other groups as well, and he also performs solo, and he writes his own material. So he's only just recently brought a song in, which we're only just started working on, which we'll start playing that live soon and probably record that eventually. And look, I think for me personally, I should really pull my finger out, maybe come up with a riff or something, and maybe contribute or even write down some lyrics. But
yeah, Richard, come on, contribute to the band for God's sake.
But like I say, all the stuff that Marc brings is great, so I'm very happy to work on that. So
when's you're recording, and you mentioned 3? It's just going to be sort of a 3-track EP type thing. So when's that going to be coming out, or is it? You're in the middle of it? I think.
We're just in a couple of weeks. We'll be putting the drums and bass parts down. I'm not quite sure what the process will be beyond that, but I imagine it'll be a few weeks or a month, or, probably a couple of months, I expect, until we have it finished. And then we'll definitely put on some kind of show and some kind of launch, and try and sort of get some momentum out of that. So. Yeah.
Cool. Well, we'll play another track of the band. So, Marc With A Sea. We've got Richard from the band is my guest in the show on the show today. This one's called Pop Song. Pretty easy, simple title. What is it? A pop song?
It's and it's also it's one of the more recent ones. I think you can kind of hear the songs that. There's quite a difference between the songs that Marc had already written some time ago and performed that he brought to the band. Once the band started, he kept writing, but I think his writing style changed a little bit because he was thinking of the band. So Let Me Go Easy and Pop Song are 2 of the later songs that he wrote with the band in mind. They're a little bit different from the earlier stuff. But look, I'm really happy. This is one of those songs that came together really quickly, and it's got a great hook in it. So
Well, we will play. This is our pop song, Marc With A Sea, and Richard from the band is my guest on the Timeslides show today. You are listening to 2RRR 88.5 FM. Enjoy.
Feel free to sing along. done. Time really does fly when you're having fun. Oh, thank you, darling, for being my border and weaving my life into a random mosaic order. I can't believe all the things we've seen and had, and having a roll on is my grandiose plan. Oh yeah. I couldn't have planned it any better if I tried. You rain down on me like a spirit from the sky. Flood my hills of valleys right down to the sea. Overflowing and sweeping away all of my debris.
Local Sydney band called Marc With A Sea, and that was a track of theirs called Pop Song. And Richard from the band is my guest, and he's guest programming the show. So these are his choices. Good choices, though. I think I've seen the Porkers, but if a long time ago. I don't think I've seen them for a long time. Yes, they have been around for a long time. So, and you were saying that you're going to see them.
Yeah,
a gig in May.
Sydney
so
Rock and Roll Markets. They're playing there along with a whole lot of other bands. So yeah, I haven't seen them for a while.
I think maybe 20 years.
Yeah, I saw them actually at Marrickville Bolo about just before the first lockdown, I think.
Oh, okay.
And it was actually an all ages show, so we took out my two boys along, who were I think about 14, 15 at the time. So
were they impressed or?
I think so. Yeah, I mean, my wife and I we used to go and see the Porkers quite a lot, years ago back in the 90s. So so it was good to sort of introduce them to ska music.
You're trying to sort of instill good music choices onto your...
Yeah, well, actually, I think Sunday before last, I took my now 16-year-old along to Marrickville Bowler to see the Jupiter 5 and Simon Chainsaw. So, trying to sort of introduce him to
yes, it's good. It's good. You've got to get the younger generation to keep listening to all the good music.
Absolutely,
and, So, now, like most people in bands, Richard, you're not just in one band. You're not just in Marc With A Sea.
No.
I think every musician I know, and I have quite a few friends in bands, and they're all in like at least 2 or 3 bands.
Yes.
So you're in another band called the 1978.
It's actually just 1978. But that's okay because I think there's a band, the 1975. So
right.
We get that a bit. Yeah, that's all good.
So 1978,
Yep.
who were meant to play a gig recently, which I had tickets to because they were playing with a couple of my friends' bands, 30 Frames a Second and the Light Brigade. But the gig, unfortunately, due to COVID-related issues, got canned. But tell us about 1978 and why you have to be in 2 bands.
Yeah,
you can't just be in one. So.
Well, it's a good point because it was funny when I mentioned to the guys in Marc With A Sea that I'd joined another band. It was a bit weird. It was a bit like...
No, you can't go into
I know, it was like almost cheating on them. But then, but they were all cool about it. And I kind of realised that, I mean, obviously the reason why so many musos are in so many different bands is because I guess it's rare that one band would cover all of your interests, So
everyone has all different tastes of music styles that they like,
Absolutely,
and they want to try different things out. And
so I think, and also I think I like the idea of being in an originals band and a covers band. So you get those two sides of things. You get that creative thing with the originals, and covers you get to play some cool music.
So what is 1978? What are you guys? Is it originals or covers?
No, it's just covers.
Right.
So that came about again through Gumtree, and again it was just one of those things. Through Facebook. Sorry. And you just sort of scroll through and you see all these people say, I want to start a band, or and it's when you're my age, you sort of read through it and you think, this sounds really interesting, and they get to the bottom and say, must be under 30 or whatever,
and you're like, damn,
I'm only like a decade or more out of that. But look, I saw this ad, a guy named Adrian Leppard, who is in quite a lot of he's got a lot of projects on the go all the time. To be honest, I've kind of lost track, but so he put an ad out towards the end of 2020, I think it was. And it looked, I basically thought, look, I really don't have time. I barely have time for one band, let alone two, but I just couldn't pass up the opportunity. It just looked too good. I mean, it's kind of before my time. Like, I was 4 years old in 1978, but I love that sort of punk and post-punk.
So was it just songs from 1978, or
no? It's
that sort of
it's
time.
Kind of, I don't think we've ever really discussed it, but my take on it is it's punk, but because it's 78, like if we called ourselves 76, I think it would have been very much of that early punk era. But because we're called 78, to my mind at least, I think it kind of takes in a bit of post-punk and new wave, and that's kind of reflected in the songs we do. So so we do the Clash, the Damned, Sex Pistols, but we also do Joy Division, and some American stuff, Ramones, but Australian stuff like the Saints and Radio Birdman. So so that band also includes Hack Nudstrom, who is in a band called the Lang Langs that I know gets played on Big Daddy K Show, which is coming up soon. And Mark Fitzgerald on drums, who was in a band back in the early 80s called The Sets, who I think were kind of quite big in Sydney's mod scene at the time.
Okay, cool.
I know that, for example, Spy vs. Spy used to support them. So, and myself on bass. And we got together late 2020, as I said. We've done a few things. We played, I think, the last night at the Bed Bar at Glebe.
It
didn't close because of us, but we just happened to be the last night. I think that was our. Actually, we did a band competition at Kelly's on King, which I don't think runs at the moment.
Did you come first or last? No.
Well, to be honest, we played and then we left.
Okay.
And I always say to people, we actually played to literally an empty room. We started playing and I looked up and the guy who was doing the sound had actually left to go and get a drink. So there was literally no one in the room. But,
are you serious?
So I thought, it's on a Tuesday. It's on a Tuesday night. It was pretty bad weather that night, and so you can't, you can't blame people. But so we've done a few things. I think it was late April last year. We did another show at Kelly's on a Saturday night, a ticketed event. And
hopefully you got a few people this time.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, it wasn't an empty room. It went really well. We did 2 sets, so we've got, I think we've got like a bit over 20 songs. So we did 2 sets of material that all those bands that I mentioned. But since the second lockdown shortly after, unfortunately we haven't really been able to do much, and we were working up to that gig at Mosh Pit
which got cancelled
early January, which you've mentioned. So, but we do have one coming up on the 10th of March with a band called Marauder Head. It's a cool name, and a band called Q. I don't know much about them, but
and where's that gig?
That's at Mosh Pit.
Okay, cool.
Adrian also plays in Marauder Head. I know that much. So like I said, he's got many fingers and many pies. So
you've got a gig you've got your gig tonight, and then you've got a gig next month. So one a month.
That's right. Yeah, and actually, so I should mention, Marc With A Sea, we're going to Buckety's Brewing in Brookvale, and they've got a band competition on, so we're going to do a really short set on that, and just for
when's
fun.
that coming up soon?
That is coming up, I think Sunday the 13th of February. Okay. So only a couple of weeks away. Yeah.
Next weekend.
Or next week, actually. Yeah. There you go. Next week.
So the gig tonight, you're playing at the Dundas Sports Club.
Yep.
From about sort of 7:30, or you'll be on.
We'll be on a bit after 8:30, something like that. Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
My guest today on the Timeslides program is Richard from Marc With A Sea. We've been hanging out and playing some music that he's brought in and some of the band songs, which you are listening to on the Timeslides program. My name's Natalie. You're listening to 2RRR 88.5 FM. Remember, Timeslides, we're on every Saturday, 5 p.m. till 6 p.m. The show, luckily for you get to listen to it again. Richard, you can go sit at home on Wednesday morning and listen to the show again.
Absolutely.
Because the show gets repeated on a Wednesday at 9 a.m. For those of you listening to the live show, You guys have got Big Daddy K coming up next with the Sydney Sounds program. He'll be here with you from 6 o'clock till 8 o'clock. Great man. He's here. He's ready to go. Give us a wave, Big Daddy K. He probably can't hear. It's busy. And for those of you listening to the repeat on a Wednesday, you guys have got the Doc Ron show coming up next. So always cool stuff here at 2RRR. If you want to find out what's on when, go to our website, which is 2RRR.org.au. Always cool stuff. So, Richard, we're going to play another track from Marc With A Sea, and this is a track called Living on Dreams. So,
This is another one that we're currently recording, and I just want to mention, unfortunately, sounds like there's a few glitches in the recording, but I think I mentioned earlier, these are just audio files taken off a YouTube clip, just to have an example of what we sound like.
Yeah. No.
So, please don't...
I wasn't expecting a polished, performance.
Yeah. But I just want to make it very clear that we are recording, these songs, and we're going to have a professional, polished recording. But this is just to give a bit of an idea of who we are and what we sound like. So,
awesome.
Yeah.
So this is Living on Dreams.
Yep. This is one of... this is one of Mark's older songs. So
awesome. So this is
to
Marc With A Sea performing Living on Dreams. Enjoy.
I'm living on dreams. Yes, I'm living on dreams. I admit it's true. That's all I seem to do. I'm living on dreams. Yes, I'm living on dreams. And when I'm feeling bold, I let him take hold. I'm gonna be a rock star and a famous actor, a brilliant director, just a good measure. I'll predict the future with my human computer. That's right, my lord, I'm gonna build a cyborg. I know I got cats to feed and a mortgage to pay, and bills always have a habit of finding you, they say. I'm gonna keep my day job so we can still eat every day. I'm just saying that sometimes, darling, I'm gonna seem a little vague, 'cause I'm living on dreams. Yes, I'm living on dreams. I admit it's true. That's all I wanna do. I'm living on dreams. Yes, I'm living on dreams. And when I'm feeling bold, I let him take hold. But perhaps as I reach out and stretch up for that star, something will come our way, spiraling from afar. A little helping hand, gifted by the cosmic affray, having me seated by the thought inside my brain. Create this world by thinking it to be, and that is the secret. It's up to you how and what you see. You probably heard this all before, but why this is you expected it when you walk out your front door. 'Cause it hasn't a guess that what you think you will see in one way or another will come to be. Oh yeah. To pay, and bills always have a habit of finding you, they say. I gotta keep my day job so we can still eat every day. I'm just saying that sometimes, darling, I'm gonna seem a little vague, 'cause I'm living on dreams.
How you doing? This is Xavier Rudd, and you're listening to 2RRR 88.5 FM. Bless it.
You are listening, in fact, to the Timeslides program on 2RRR 88.5 FM. My name is Natalie. I've got Richard, bass player from a local Sydney band called Marc With A Sea, and we played their track Living on Dreams just in that last little bracket. Thanks for sort of coming and hanging out. I know you've had a busy day. It's all been about the band for you today, hasn't it? You've had you said you had rehearsals this morning. You've come here to the radio station, and you've got a gig tonight. So that's at Dundas Sports Club?
Dundas Sports Club, it's not really a gig as such. We're playing as part of a sort of an open band night.
Cool.
I think there'll probably be 7 or 8 bands on all up. So, good opportunity.
And you guys be on, it starts from about 7:30, so you'll be on
we'll be
sometime
one of the earlier bands
after.
On. Yep.
And it's a free event. And
free.
People can come along and just chill out and do whatever they want.
Yeah, it's good.
And your other band that you're in, 1978,
1978.
you guys are playing in
We are
March?
locked in, Thursday, 10th of March, Mosh Pit in Erskineville. So looking forward to that. Yeah.
Cool. And while we're talking about gigs, I have to mention some friends of mine, guys in a band called Same Therapy, who we were meant to get on the show a few weeks ago, but some things have happened and they've had to delay, so we're hoping to get them on the show in maybe March or April. But the guys from Same Therapy are doing a gig at the Mosh Pit. Everyone's doing gigs at the Mosh Pit. So I promised them that I would mention it. So that's Same Therapy. They're playing at the Mosh Pit next Saturday. What's next Saturday? The 12th, sorry. Next Saturday, the 12th. And it's going from 3 o'clock till 6 o'clock. I think they're the second band on, so they'll probably be on around 4 o'clock. So go along and support Same Therapy at the Mosh Pit at Newtown. So it's great that there are gigs happening again and starting to come back up. So it's exciting that we can go back and see bands, because it's one of my favourite things to do is to go and see bands play live, and it's been really hard that we've all had to sort of miss it, and during all that lockdown, music got us all through, mate. I think got me through.
We're just chatting while that track played. Actually, the gig we met at Mosh Pit, the Men from Uncle.
We're playing.
I think that was. It was a little bit after lockdown, but that was probably one of the first times I went out after lockdown.
Yeah, that gig at the Mosh Pit
it was early.
Uncle was it was early November. Yeah.
And I just remember going there, and as I said, I was there to mostly see the Langlangs, who Hack Nudstrom from 1978 is his band, and I just remember just the almost euphoria of sitting in a room with a can of VB on a stool, watching a band play, and thinking, how cool is this? This is awesome. So
Now that was my first gig that night since the 2RRR benefit that we had at Lazy Bones at Marrickville, which we had on the 20th of June. So it was several months between gigs. So I'm so excited. Yeah, it's great to be able to that we're sort of having gigs again. So it's
definitely.
It's really exciting to be out playing. So I hope you have fun at you've got your gig tonight. Hopefully lots of people will head out. I mean, it's free. Like, why wouldn't you go out and
and it's a good professional setup there, and it's a lot of fun. You just turn up, plug in, and play. It's really good.
And you mentioned that the guys are listening, so
sorry.
I think we better say hello and mention the other. Say hello to them. Mention all their names. I should do a shout out.
To Mark. I know Mark and Marty. They're probably in the car right now listening. So hello to you guys, and also to Cole. He's probably not listening, but I'll say good day to Cole as well. And quick shout out to the 1978 guys, so Adrian Leopard, Hack Nudstrom. His real name's Charles. I've got no idea what his surname is, but Hack is his stage name. Mark Fitzgerald on drums as well. So hi to everyone, and we'll catch up shortly.
Cool. So Marc With A Sea, like I said, great band name. I'm glad we sorted out the confusion of how of the name and spelling and etc. It's been great to have you on the show, Richard. And
thank you.
Like I said, my first guest in the studio for quite a long time, so it's good to be able to have people in the studio again. And hopefully we'll see you again.
That'd be great.
Later in the year when the recording's done, and
it'd be great to come back
when you've got your launch, I guess. I'm sure you do a launch gig and things like that. So
it'd be great to come back and talk about the gig coming up and play the final recorded material.
Perfect. So Richard from Marc With A Sea, big thank you.
Thank you.
My name's Natalie. This is the Timeslides program, which we're listening to on 2RRR 88.5 FM. I will be back next Saturday, 5 p.m. till 6 p.m. But remember, Timeslides gets repeated on a Wednesday at 9 a.m. So you can listen to this show all over again. For those of you listening to the live show on a Saturday, you guys have the legendary Big Daddy K. He is coming up next with the Sydney Sounds program. I got the thumbs up. I love it when I get a thumbs up from Big Daddy K. And he has guests. I can see he's got a guest on the show, so I'm sure it'll be an amazing show, and Big Daddy K will introduce you to his special guest shortly. For those of you listening to the repeat on a Wednesday, you guys have got the Doc Ron show coming up next. Always amazing stuff here at 2RRR 88.5 FM, especially on a Saturday afternoon. So Richard, you've chosen the last song because you've been guest programming the show, so we're playing a UMI track.
Very early UMI track.
And we've got, this one's just called Grand Ted. Track one. I think we've played a lot of track ones today. See you guys next week. Thank you for listening to the Timeslides program. You're on 2RRR 88.5 FM. See you.